Good morning, YouTube. It is 4:32 p.m. Wednesday, January 12th, 2022, and I slept in way too damn late today. Last night was frustrating, and if you didn't see my last video that I took last night, you should probably go back and take a peek at it, because last night got screwed by the bus system, having a bus not running, which happens all the time, but usually that just means I lose a half hour of my life or end up having to walk a mile. Last night it hosed me a lot more, just because I was really far from home, and it was the last bus that wasn't the last bus going down 19th Avenue, which is what seemed to puzzle people. They're like, well, the bus is still running till midnight. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I'm well aware there's going to be 3 more buses, but none of those 3 more buses are capable of getting me home. Or even near home. There's certainly times, when there have been times where I can get, I can't get a 44 South, because a 44 stops running a little earlier than some of the buses, but I can get down Indian School. I can get down Indian School to 48th Street. Yeah, not going to kill me walking from Indian School on 48th Street. A little farther than I like to walk, but it's definitely a walkable distance for me. But once I missed that, once that route 19 southbound failed to show up, and I realized that, it's we got another one of these buses on the schedule, but absolutely not on the road. Once I had that realization happen, I had already checked the bus schedules thoroughly. So the closest points that I could have got to home, and I didn't bother to figure out which was farther, because they were both farther than I was even entertaining the thought of walking. The closest points I could have got to home would have been either Tatum and Bell, which is ridiculously far north of me, or my brain's popping on this one. I want to say 19th Avenue and Cano, but I'm not 100% sure that I can walk in a straight line west from here and get to 19th Avenue. I'm really not too sure about that. I think it seems like there's just, I know you can't drive it. I know that for sure. It's not possible to drive it. All right, we got more shopping carts. Actually, I think that one's been there a while. I know it can't be driven, but I do know in some of the spots where you can't drive on Oak, you can walk. Like Oak doesn't cross the 51 freeway, the Squaw Peak Parkway freeway. It doesn't cross it, but there is a pedestrian overpass there. There's also an amazingly good taco place there on the west side, but I digress. Gosh, now I'm super curious. Can I walk this? Today's not the day to find out, and it'd actually be a really cool scooter ride to try once I have a scooter. Just generally speaking, if I can walk something, I can take it on a scooter. I mean, worst case scenario, I put the scooter over my shoulder and walk in spots I can't ride, which was something I did a whole lot as a juicer when I worked for Lime. Anyway, yeah, I got sidetracked pretty hard there, didn't I? Yeah, so at that point I was functionally stuck at the bar, which is when I shot that video, kind of cursing Phoenix Public Transit for having a bus not running that's, you know, so crucial, one that doesn't connect, you know, one that's potentially connecting to people's last rides home. Because I'm pretty sure that was the one that would have, you know, got me. I know it's the one that would have got me on the last 29 to get me home, and I expect it would be the same thing as far as like for transferring to the. I didn't check the schedule, but I feel like I've compared them before, and I think it would have been the same scenario with trying to transfer to the 17 to take the McDowell bus home. Either way, like that one not running screws me being able to get to either of them. Anyway, so went back to the bar. Not really sure, you know, what the hell I was gonna do, and hoping maybe, just maybe, that there's basically a couple that I've been hanging out with for hours and talking with and really kind of connecting with, and I didn't want to put anything on them. You know, it just feels like really bad form to me to try to ask any kind of real favor from somebody you just met. And while I'm not particularly close to Sean or his girlfriend, I have worked with him for, I want to say, like 9 months. And I've had several chats with his girlfriend who he lives with, or maybe his wife at this point. I'm not even sure. That shows how well I don't know them. Like, I'm not sure if they're married or not. But I mean, I've chatted with them a lot. They know me. They know I'm a, you know, fairly harmless guy. It's not like they're taking a quote-unquote stranger home, you know. So, I'm having a time getting my transit app to work here, trying to see when the bus is going to be here. 4:53, and it is 4:40, so I got 13 minutes, more or less. Live data is currently not available. So maybe it's going to show up in 13 minutes, maybe it's not. All right. On that note, I think I'm going to just walk north on 44th Street. Oh, look at all the garbage. Fabulous. So much garbage around this stop. It seems like I rolled by that one recently and they'd actually cleaned it too, so it makes me sad how quick people are trashing the bus stops around here these days. Anyway, I went back, super frustrated, and the bartender, of course, was shocked. Came back, and her first question is, "Well, did you miss your bus?" I'm like, no, it just simply wasn't running. And this is a concept I really have trouble explaining to other people, because most people, I don't really know anybody else that uses transit. Everybody else in my life drives. In fact, I feel like I'd be more connected to the people in my life if just one of them was willing to spend a day actually riding with me and seeing the challenge that I face on it. Oh, look at this fool blocking traffic. Didn't know like that. Oh my lord! Oh my lord! That guy came out and tried to make a left turn where there's a median and you can't make a left turn. Wow. I am really shocked it wasn't an accident. Wow. This guy's blocking a crosswalk. Yep, you're blocking a crosswalk. I don't know. There's not a sign there saying no left turn, and there's or a right arrow pointing that you have to go north, but that's median's pretty fucking bigger than me. Somebody really not paying attention to the road, or maybe maybe has such bad vision, he doesn't deserve to be driving, especially something as dangerous as that big truck. Anyway, when I got back to the bar, so I'm trying to. It does frustrate me that you know I don't have anybody that's actually ever making an attempt to roll with me and realize just what the struggles are. Like, it's, you know, I tell people I know about it, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Hope you get your car back soon." But you know, nobody actually down to try and subject themselves to this and see what it is. But boy, there's so many people on YouTube wanting to talk about how great transit is, especially how great the light rail is. Let's see, we've got another box or another stolen product on the side of the road here. What is this? A rugged speaker. Bluetooth. Built-in mic for calls. Up to 8 hours playtime. 4 IPX. Water resistant. Stream from... I can't very well. Stream to Bluetooth-enabled devices. Built-in mic. Huh, that's kind of redundant. The features on the box. Never heard of that brand. Sounds like a piece of shit to me. The fact that the box is laying here on the ground just screams probably stolen to me. Even if it wasn't stolen, damn you for littering, whoever left this box on the ground. I'm trying to carry this one to a trash can with all the other trash that's on the sidewalk here on 44th Street. It's not really changing the appearance of this area significantly, but hey, at least I can walk one box to the trash can that somebody felt the need to litter with. You know, it makes me really sad just how this area has become just so full of litter. I want to say in the last year. I've lived in this neighborhood about 6 years. This never used to be a trashy neighborhood. That is something that never used to happen on this corner. Or that. Or that. So... in this area here, I often see people squatting inside the bushes in the landscaping. I don't understand how this has just become so acceptable. I mean, I get being homeless. I've been homeless, but I never squatted in the bushes at a place like this. I went deep into the recesses of Papago Park where nobody could see me. Did it there. Or other similar places. I wouldn't have even considered squatting someplace like right there. Wouldn't have even considered it. Anyway, so back to last night. I was stranded. I did show a few of the people that I was hanging with, like, that were trying to, you know, screenshots, because I took a screen as soon as I realized that what was going on. I took a screenshot, and I hope to at some point file a complaint. But I mean, who do I complain to, and what's gonna come of it? Because it's pretty clear, you know, the establishment, by the establishment I mean my city council member and the mayor, don't really give a shit about pedestrians or having a functioning transit system, or we'd have a functioning transit system. So I don't know, mostly just took it for my own satisfaction, just to remind myself how it was I got stuck there. And it shows, it's just a screenshot of the app, and it shows what time I was at the bus stop, and you see my little blue dot at the bus stop. In the app here, present location is represented by a blue dot. And it shows that I'm there a good solid 4 minutes before the bus is scheduled to be there. And then it shows the zoomed out route when the city was way zoomed out on this image. And then the text that says GPS, I forget the exact words, but something along the lines of GPS tracking is not available for this vehicle. And of course, when I'm showing that to the other people in the bar, like, none of them are familiar with the Valley Metro app. And to be fair, most of the people that I ride the bus with are also not familiar with the Valley Metro Transit app. Which begs the question, how the hell do they get where they're going and have a clue when the buses are running or not running? And I feel like a lot of people have just resigned to, it's going to take me for fucking ever. I just sit here till the bus shows up. Could be 5 minutes, could be 5 hours, whatever. I sit here. There's a 29 staged at 44th Street. Could be one that goes through, from Scottsdale that stopped there. Or it could be one that starts there and he just went around that corner and is kind of waiting for his time to go. Although it's been my observation that the ones that start there, I haven't seen in the GPS exactly where they stage up and wait their time, but they generally don't head towards that corner until it's time for them to leave. Which tells me I'm probably not going to be able to get on it, especially in light of the fact that I really need to check my 44 and see if it's actually coming. And the last I checked, it said GPS not available. It gave that message. Gave that message that tracking was not available, but it's also pretty early. Okay, 4:55. Okay, this is a good sign. Honestly, I'm actually relieved, if y'all can see that. I'm actually relieved when it says delayed like that. 4:55, delayed 4:56. That means the bus is going to be there a minute late. If it's able to compute that it's running late, that means it's actually running. That's a good sign. And a minute late doesn't change my situation. Yep, there's how it shows. There you can see that it's at the loop 202. So yeah, don't need to worry about catching the 29. I'll just catch this, and it'll be here. And from this point, like I'm showing the stops. Like it shows Bellevue as its next stop at 4:51. It was saying 4:50 just a second ago, so it just updated that. And Wilshire, Earl, Indianola. Actually, Earl is past me. I can't see it very well putting it through and looking at it through the phone, but I want to make sure y'all can see this. So there's Thomas. We get Thomas 4:56. So in 6 minutes. All right. Try and get just a little bit more on this video, explain what happened last night. So as I shoot a wonderful view of my bank, hey, at least there's not a line outside the bank. Or is it after 5 now? I think that bank closes up at 5. Yeah, it's 4:51. I'm honestly surprised there's not a line outside the bank, unless they started closing at 4, which wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, so nobody that I was showing that app to is familiar with the app or the screens or what they mean. So I did show them how like that. Basically, that showed that I was at the bus stop on time, but that when it shows that screen that says the GPS is not available for it, when it's that close to when it should be arriving, that means that the bus isn't actually running, even though it should be running. And people were flabbergasted that was a thing, but oh yeah, that's very much a thing. And then they're like, well, isn't there more buses running? And I'm like, yeah, let me show you. This is the deal with that. So I in real time I go and hit the thing to zoom into my current location, scroll it a little bit to the west because the bar is actually at 17th Avenue, not 19th Avenue. And see, there's the bus stop. There's where it is at 19th south of Bell. So I click on that, and it shows when the buses are coming. And at that point, I think it showed 2 or 3 more buses. And then I click on it. I think at that point, the first time I showed that to somebody, and I forget who it was I was showing to it. Like I click on it, and it showed where the bus was, and I'm like, see, now that's what it should do. If the bus is running, that's what it does. It shows you where exactly it is on its way to you. And they're like, oh, that's kind of neat. I'm like, yeah, it's been like, it's like, when did that happen? I'm like, I'm really not sure, but I've been using it for a few months now. It's yeah, it's a good thing. It's certainly better than before where you just had no idea. But it doesn't help. It still doesn't fix the problem of buses when they're not running. But I showed him that, and it was the guy or maybe his girlfriend. I think I may have showed them both at the same time. Last night's a little fuzzy because there were many beers involved. But anyway, I clicked it and I showed them that I was see there's still buses running, and I can catch. There's still 2 more, and this is the next one. I got enough time to walk to get this, but let me show you what happens. So I click it, and it shows where it is in the GPS tracking, so it shows it's running. And I said, when you click on this, it shows what stops it's going to pass and what time it's going to pass those stops. And I'm scrolling down, and he's like, oh, that's pretty neat. I'm like, yeah, but here's where it stops. And so I have to scroll a long way to get from Bell, past a lot of bus stops to get from Bell Road to Thomas Road. And then when I get down to Thomas Road, I'm like, see what time it is there? He goes, yeah. So I said, so that bus gets there at 12:05 a.m. He's like, okay. Now, I do wish at that point that I could just click where it says Thomas, 19th Avenue Thomas at 12:05 a.m. and have it automatically re-zero the map at Thomas and 19th Avenue where that stop is. It doesn't do that. That would be some great functionality for them to add, though. But anyway, at that point, I swipe it down, exit out of that, and then scroll down to where 19th and Thomas is, and I show him, okay, so there's 19th and Thomas. Do you remember what time? And I had to ask him to remember what time, because at that point in that time, 12:05 had already slipped my mind, because I have issues with short-term memory. I said, so 12:05, got it. I said, now, and then I click on that, and it showed that there were still, going to be 2 more buses coming down Thomas as well. But you could see that the last one was at about 11:40 p.m. I'm like, see, so it gets me there at 12:05. I will have missed the last bus that'll take me home by 15 minutes if I take that bus and get down there. And then I'm going to be stranded at 19th Avenue in Thomas. Not a good part of town, not walking distance from where I live either. And he's just like, oh, wow, that sucks. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here so upset. And at that point, they were just like, hey, you know what? You're here now. We got you. Just have a beer, sing another song, get happy, don't be stressed. And they were, to their credit, trying really hard to just get me to calm down. Sean bought me another stein of beer, which I probably didn't need, but thanks, Sean. He said he wasn't really sure that he had some friends staying the night, wasn't really sure if he could help me out, but that he would do, obviously nobody from there wanted to drive me home, which is fair. I mean, they were all drinking, and I wouldn't want to, even if I wasn't drinking, it's a long drive from a finish line bar to my home, and it's twice as long of a drive to do that round trip. So yeah, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to drive it. And of course I got the question of, well, can't you just take a Lyft? Yeah, a Lyft was like $35. So yeah, could take a Lyft. Sorry, I'm having some tough times. I don't have $35. All right, there's my bus. I'm on my way back to the bar because I left some stuff there. So go me.